Distinguished guests and gentlefolk, we are now seeing something that we have not seen in the cubing world in a very long time. This past weekend just proved to me that we are officially entering a new era of cubing. And I don't just mean, oh no, Yiheng's learning ZBLL, we're all doomed. No, this extends far beyond that, and you can see it happening right before your eyes if you've been paying attention to the WCA results lately. Because we just had three sub-4 3x3 singles in one day. In the span of just 24 hours, we saw the most casual sub-4 of all time, the fastest solve ever that isn't a PR. And finally, probably the one that I was surprised by the most and marks a huge turning point in cubing as a whole with a nice reaction because the anticipation of this has been building up for a very long time now. And two of these solves didn't only happen on the same day, but at the same exact competition, yes. Ohio State RPAC cubing clash is somehow just where this new age of cubing revolution ended up happening, but it's not too surprising when you consider that Tymon was there doing Tymon things. I mean, are you actually kidding me? This 3.82 single with ZBLL is now just a good solve for him. Because there was something that I realized in this moment watching this solve. Ladies and gentlemen, threes are the new fours. We have now seen 27 sub-4 singles. I just didn't believe it when I heard this number. It still feels like getting a sub-4 is reserved for extremely lucky solves with flawless turning, but that is just not the case anymore. Tymon did a double X-cross into a pretty nice CBLL, but that's because he had time to do a U2 to recognize it and then another U2 before executing the out. Like, are we seriously at a point where 3.82 is just, yeah, nice. Moving on. But the other sub-4 at this comp wasn't just a 3. It was the 5th fastest solve ever, because Luke Garrett's 3.50 just dropped, and the contrast here is insane. Because I firmly believe that everything he does here is extremely understandable, and it's basically just straight CFOP into a PLL skip on this OLL case. But what makes this the 5th fastest solve ever is, of course, well, 11 TPS, along with insane look ahead, and then just sometimes, you know, you got that RNG on your side. Luke actually mentioned that Luke Greiser did the exact same solution for the first two pairs, but decided to do the front right for the third one, giving him this, which is quite literally the difference between a solve like this and a 4 or a 5. You can go check out the recon that Luke did for his solve down below because there's no reason for me to explain it right now when he literally did the solve. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the Max Park solving style is still absolutely undefeated, and when done right, it can rival some of the solutions, if you can even call them that Tymon has been doing lately. But the third and final sub-4 we saw on Saturday was just special. A crazy reaction, a crazy solve, and just a moment that will be remembered for a long time in cubing. And that is the first ever 3-second solve in South American cubing history. And it wasn't even a 3.9, not even a 3.8, but a 3.74 from Claudio Matias Cancino Bruna from Chile, beating the previous continental record by a whole half of a second. That's a crazy time drop for a record of this importance. And in case you're wondering, this solve was in fact a last layer skip. And again, like I said, sometimes you do have to have that RNG on your side, but let me just break down this highly anticipated record and just show you what this solve looked like, because it truly was an amazing one. Claudio does a solve on red cross so we can scramble with orange top and green front to make things easier to understand. Alright, so we can immediately see that our cross pieces are here, 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 and down here. And the main idea of this solve is that you can build this green-orange block down here to start off the solve. So what he's going to do is he's going to build an X-cross with said block, and then also this edge right here. So he of course starts off the solve with those three moves that I just mentioned, and then he does a D2, because the orange needs to be opposite to the red. And instead of just putting the red in, he of course just puts the blue on top of it so that he can insert both at the same time with an R' and an F. And then all he needs to do to finish off the X cross is just insert this final edge into the back like so. And something very insightful that he does here is instead of just doing a D' to finish off the X cross, he actually does a wide U'. And the reason for that is because he's probably tracking this as his second pair, and he knows that if he does a D' from this angle, then he's gonna have to rotate to do it. So he just does the wide U', and then he goes into the red blue into the front right. And just from doing enough solves, you'll know that whenever you insert this pair into the front right and you have this, then you'll actually get this case for F2L. And that being said, he actually cancels into the next pair like this, which is just really, really nice. And then you of course just have a regular insert here into the back right. And for this case, you can actually pair it up a couple of ways, one of which is just like this and then rotating. But if you want to do it rotationless, which is what he did, you actually just do a left-handed sledgehammer. And then just from this situation right here, you know that you will get an OLL skip if you do another sledgehammer, but even better yet, a last layer skip with a U' AUF. puts down the cube. The first ever sub 4 in South American cubing history. So yeah, again, there was an X-Cross here, but nothing too insane. Just some really good execution of nice F12 cases into a last layer skip. But what does this solve in the other sub 4s we saw this last weekend? Tell us. Well, we're officially moving into a new era in terms of what we're going to be seeing from the top level moving forward. Don't get me wrong, sub 4 is still the barrier to break in terms of that very top level of cubing. But for some, it's just going to start becoming more and more normal until, well, it's kind of expected. I remember 5 or 6 years ago when we were still looking for the first ever sub 4 single. We knew it was going to happen, the question was just when. And now we're at a point where a 3.5 second solve might not get you any records at all, not even a PR next to the top. My predictions for the coming month are that we're going to see Tymon get a counting 3, and Max is probably going to get another sub 4 at some point. And oh yeah, I'm also a firm belief that we're going to see the world record single happen soon. I mean, what happens when there's just a little bit more luck? I was also recently informed that the girl from the Daily Reminder, Chi Shen Sao, is now 7 years old. And that changes nothing. It changes absolutely nothing. I mean, if you really want me to make you feel that much better, then just remember that you are still slower than a 7-year-old. That was like putting one of those Scooby-Doo band-aids on a broken bone, because no matter how much it hurts, you will still always be slower than a 6-year-old at heart. Just remember that, okay? So no, the Daily Reminder isn't going anywhere. And yeah, we're almost to 10,000 subscribers. And what can I say? Thanks, guys. I mean, let's just keep going. And if you do happen to be one of the select few that is still here watching this video right now, I do appreciate you a lot, by the way. I want to let you know that I will be doing my first ever live stream on Saturday, which is, I think, tomorrow from when this video is coming out. So yeah, March 30th, pull up if you want to. It's going to be a historical event. I'll let you guys know in a community post or something what time that's going to actually take place at. So yeah, you can watch the video up here if you want to. Yeah, besides that, that's about it. See ya.